I've officially cracked it. The biggest secret James Gunn is hiding in plain sight. This isn't just another fan theory. This is the blueprint. After digging through the leaks, the insider reports, the carefully chosen words, and the clues they thought we missed, the full plan for the DCU is finally clear. It's been right in front of us the entire time. Robert Pattinson isn't just an Elseworlds Batman. He is the Batman of the main DCU. And the way they're going to do it is crazier and smarter than anyone expected. Let's break it all down. But first, subscribe to Multiverse Leak for more news and rumors. Let's run it up to 1,000 subs ASAP. This all starts with a series of signals that, on their own, look like nothing, just internet noise. James Gunn starts referring to his upcoming Superman films as the Superman saga. We already know that Matt Reeves has been referring to his Batman films as the crime saga. A coincidence? No shot. In the world of billion-dollar franchise filmmaking, there are no coincidences. Saga is a deliberate, powerful word. It signals a multi-part, epic narrative with a definitive end. For both filmmakers to deploy the exact same term for DC's two most important characters in the same window of time is not an accident. It's coordinated messaging. Then, a smaller signal. David Corenswet, our new Superman, gives a quiet follow to Matt Reeves on social media. The internet sees it, shrugs, and moves on. An actor following a director. Big deal, right? But it's a pattern. It's the first digital handshake between the two pillars of this new universe. They're warming you up to the idea. But here's the twist, and the most important piece of the puzzle. For the last year, credible industry insiders, the ones who are consistently right, have been reporting a secret deal struck between James Gunn and Matt Reeves. The reported terms sound completely impossible, which is why most people dismiss them. The deal says two things. 1. Robert Pattinson's Batman will appear in the main DCU. 2. Matt Reeves, the Batman universe stays separate. That sounds like a contradiction, a paradox. How can he be in the DCU if his universe is separate? He can't be in two places at once, can he? He can, because we've seen this exact play before. Marvel and Sony already gave us the answer key. This is the Spider-Man playbook, executed flawlessly. Remember when Spider-Man was trapped at Sony? The conventional wisdom was that he would never appear in the MCU. It was a logistical and legal nightmare, an impossible dream. Then they struck the deal. The blueprint was simple. Sony would continue to produce Spider-Man stories and have creative control over the solo Spider-Man films, keeping parts of his world technically separate, like Venom or the Spider-Verse. But the character of Spider-Man himself would be allowed to cross over and play in the main MCU sandbox. One character, two universes, one seamless experience for the audience. Sound familiar? The language we're hearing now, separate but connected, is a direct echo of that same strategy. It allows Matt Reeves to finish his grounded, street-level crime saga exactly as he envisions it, without interference. And it allows James Gunn to import the finished product, a fully formed, critically acclaimed, fan-approved Batman without having to reboot the character for the third time in a decade. It's the perfect solution, and it's happening for a reason. Let's be real. The emotional core of the entire DC universe isn't the Justice League. It's the world's finest. It's the relationship between a god raised by humans to believe in the best of them and a human who forced himself to become a god to prepare for the worst of them. You cannot build a definitive DCU without a definitive Batman and a definitive Superman who can exist in the same frame. Without that foundational relationship, the entire structure is built on sand. James Gunn knows this. This isn't just about a crossover, it's about fulfilling the core promise of DC Comics itself. Now, here's where it gets wild. The consensus speculation points to one destination for the Reevesverse. It's a finite, self-contained trilogy, a complete story with a beginning, middle, and end. The mission of the Batman saga is clear. Establish a younger, rawer Batman, build out his iconic Gotham, and introduce his core rogues gallery in a grounded, realistic world. Once that mission is complete, once this Batman has truly become a symbol of hope for Gotham, his specific arc in that universe is over. But this is where everything changes. The end of the Batman saga isn't an end for Robert Pattinson. It's his graduation. It means he becomes a free agent, an established, beloved character with all the heavy lifting of his origin story done. He's ready to be pulled into the brighter, weirder, more cosmic world of the main DCU. The Elseworlds label wasn't a wall, it was an incubator, protecting the character until he was ready. and the calendar math makes this inevitable. Look at the schedule. Superman just established the tone of the new DCU. It introduced a world of aliens, advanced tech, and grand-scale heroics. Next will be Supergirl, where we can expect Cornswet to appear again. Then, there is a 15-month gap. More than a year later, the Batman Part 2 arrives to conclude its dark, street-level story. Now ask yourself, why that specific order? This schedule gives both sagas room to breathe and reach their own narrative climaxes independently. The timeline isn't a coincidence, it's a runway, and you don't build two separate billion-dollar runways right next to each other unless you plan on making them converge. After 2027, both characters are fully established and narratively free to finally meet. This means we have to completely reframe what comes next. The end of the Reeves verse isn't the end, it's the setup for the real prize. The brave and the bold. The official story is that the DCU's first Batman film will be a total reboot. A new actor, a new story. But what if that's a misdirection? What if the brave and the bold isn't an origin story at all? What if it's the story of Robert Pattinson's seasoned Batman, fresh off his own trilogy, suddenly thrust into the wider DCU? Picture it. A Batman who has only ever fought mobsters and serial killers is suddenly told by a flying man in a cape that alien warlords exist. And then, as he's still processing that, he's confronted by the League of Assassins and a son, Damian Wayne, that he never knew he had. That is the movie. The conflict isn't just external, it's internal. It's a grounded detective forced to accept a fantastical new reality. It is the perfect narrative engine to bring Pattinson's celebrated Batman into the fold without rebooting a thing. Ultimately, this comes down to legacy. Think about the great superhero actors, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Christian Bale as Batman. They earned their definitive emotional conclusions after long, celebrated runs that defined a generation. Robert Pattinson is in his prime. To build this incredible version of the character, have him star in a critically acclaimed billion-dollar movie, and then just bench him after a short trilogy would be an incredible narrative waste. More than that, it would be a business catastrophe. You don't get rid of your most successful, beloved star player. You elevate him. You take the Batman that audiences and critics already love, and you make him the unshakable, brooding centerpiece of your new cinematic universe. It's the necessary, logical, inevitable move. Now, let's go back to one of the very first clues, that behind-the-scenes sketch from the Superman set. It's a simple drawing of the Super family, but in the corner, almost hidden, is a skull-shaped ship with tentacles. That's Brainiac. That isn't a random doodle, it's foreshadowing. Brainiac is a world collector, a super genius planet-level threat. Why would you tease a villain whose primary weapon is his intellect in the very first Superman movie? Why set up a threat that requires not just brawn, but brains? You do it because you're not just setting up a Superman story, you're setting up the need for the world's finest. You're creating a problem that only the world's greatest detective can help solve. So, add it all up. You have Gunn and Reeves using identical, deliberate saga branding. You have the direct historical precedent of the Sony Marvel deal, providing a clear logistical blueprint. You have a release schedule that creates a perfect on-ramp for integration after 2027. You have a legacy actor you can't afford to lose. And you have a narrative in Superman that is already crying out for Batman's involvement. The evidence doesn't point to a possibility. It points to a meticulously crafted plan. Robert Pattinson's Batman was never just an Elseworlds project, he is the DCU's Batman in waiting. The Superman saga isn't a rival story, it's the opening act. It's preparing the world for the inevitable arrival of its Dark Knight. The only real question left is, what cataclysmic event will finally be big enough to force them to meet?